of ShareLove.Fund, and today we have our RPYT, our Registered Prenatal Yoga Teacher Training, week 7, and each week we're going to go through one of our 45 signature poses. The first week we had an introduction. The second week we went through salutation A, which is the basis. Then we went through easy seat in week 3, cat-cow in week 4, Tadasana and forward fold, and now we are doing Warrior 2. I also want to point out for people that are interested, our youth published this book, Broadening Our Horizons. It's a book series available on Amazon. What can modern food science learn from historic nutritional practices? It has over 30 recipes, and our prenatal clients have enjoyed supporting our philanthropy by purchasing this on Amazon. 100% of profits go to programming. Amazon does take a fee, but everything that we get, we put out to do good in the world. And people have had some fun with the recipes, and nothing here shall be construed as medical advice. So, to consult with a doctor, use your own good judgment on what to eat or not eat while you're pregnant. But this book could be a fun way to supplement your movement with some nutrition. So Broadening Our Horizons, it's a series, and I'm so proud of our youth that have written this book. They worked hard last summer, and this summer our Youth Leadership Board and Young Authors Honor Society is working on another project, so it'll be a surprise when it's published. So today, let's just take a comfortable seated position. You can sit in Thunderbolt. You can take a seat in Easy Seat. If you have water or whatever is comfortable, feel free to hydrate. And we're just going to take a few breaths together and kind of warm up. Then we'll introduce Warrior 2, and we'll do a sequence together so that your time in teacher training is also serving your body, but you'll also learn some teaching tips along the way. I want to also take a moment to really thank all of our clients. We love to teach, but we can't teach without students. So we're so thankful. We know that you have a choice, and we're here to serve you. So please let us know along the way, feedback, positive or negative, so that we can really optimize and be the best that we can be in helping you be the best that you can be. So let's take a deep breath to sort of allow ourselves to drop into being centered. Let's put our arms up and shake it all out. And we'll put our arms up and shake it all out. So here we will rainbow our arms across and really stretch the rib cage. Now, when we're pregnant, we don't want to do any twists. So we're not going to torque our middle, but we can create some space in this rib cage that's tighter. But we're also aware that wherever we make space, we're decreasing space. So sharpshooting pain is never a good thing. And really listen to your body. Being a good teacher is really about having judgment, good judgment, and the good judgment starts with you knowing your limits and being a seeker of what serves you, and knowing when to say yes and when to say no. So I encourage you to feel empowered, to modify as you need to make sure that you are maximizing the benefits to your body. So we'll just take a few breaths here. We'll hold this for a few breaths. By placing our fingers wide, we are also working a little bit of the bicep. while opening up the side. We'll try to keep that hand rainbowed across the ceiling. So if you notice the shoulder bending forward or back, we'll work on alignment a little bit. Here you can reach, reach, reach. Then also try to think about opposites. So having your shoulder back and your arm forward and just feeling how that feels. And then we'll exhale and take a deep breath on the other side. Keeping the shoulder back. Fingers wide on the mat, working this bicep a little bit. And kind of notice the tension on each side. Is one side tighter than the other? If you feel that your neck is tight, you can kind of move it around. Maybe massage your jaw a little bit. Reach a little bit and let go. And reach a little more. You can think of this as a grounding pose with our hands and fingers wide into the mat. And you might feel a little bit start to burn in the arms because we're also strengthening. And stretching takes time. And it can be a little boring, so it's nice to do it together. But what's nice about stretching for prenatal is that it creates space, it reduces anxiety. Pregnancy can be a very anxious time because all the other stresses in life are a little bit compounded when something new is physically going on with our bodies. It can be a time where people are a little bit more sensitive. If it's difficult to sleep while pregnant, then sometimes, it's hard to sort of function and keep up when we're not getting that same good night's sleep, when also our body is working really hard. Now we'll shake it all out. Here I invite you to stretch your neck. So we've stretched the rib cage. Now let's really focus on the neck. So there are some parts of our body when we're pregnant that we can't move the same way, like laying on our belly when it's the third trimester, but some parts don't have to be so affected. And one of those is the neck. So when you can't move your middle the way you want to, instead of focusing on what is restricted, try to use pregnancy as an opportunity to pay attention to those other parts of our body that we didn't give so much attention to. So I like to do neck stretches, and in the other classes, we've done even some eye stretches to increase peripheral vision. And so we can focus on those as well. So no matter how pregnant and immobile you feel, you can still move your eyes. And we have to just sort of count our blessings where they lie. So here, to get a deeper neck stretch, you can let your arm fall to the ground, and then that really stretches all of this. That feels too intense for you. You can keep your arm up, so you're really just stretching the upper neck. So either way, let's take a few breaths here, and we'll just, at your own pace, we'll stretch the neck to the side, then roll it over, and then we'll do a half circle on the other side. So that's the grand plan for this. So we'll just take a few moments and kind of draw inward, self-reflect, And get a little comfortable with the silence inside of us. Using your breath to expand what's tight. Asking yourself, what if I just let go? Am I worried my head is going to fall? How much of this tension is us preemptively holding on? And how much is it actually our muscles and ligaments being tight? By moving the head different angles, and it's optional, you can just have gravity do the work for you, or if you want a little deeper stretch, you can put some pressure on your head, and even deeper, just letting this arm fall. And you can think of the tension in your neck as strands. And in yoga, we talk about sutras, and sutras are threads, the yogic philosophy. And whether or not you take to heart the yoga philosophy, sutras can be interesting just for critical thinking. And so when we do this stretch, try to kind of think about those threads or sutras of tension in your neck, and those threads and sutras of philosophy that are sort of the guiding principles in your life. Whatever those philosophies may be, or maybe you want to think of it as values. What are the words that you live by? So as you think of each tension strand in your neck, maybe think about each one as representing words or guidelines that you live by. And think about letting those expand and allowing those guidelines to play a bigger role in your life. You can lean forward, and this can really stretch the back. It's almost like a seated rabbit pose. You can think about if your upper back, have upper back tension or lower back tension, and this, what we're doing now is really helping with the upper back. And now on this other side, we can let the arm hang down and use our breath to expand those tight parts. We can think of our breath as a balloon, and it's going into that tight part where there's no space, but it's blowing up as we're inhaling, so it's making it even tighter. And then as we exhale, can you get your head to drop a little more by making less space in an already tense area? When we release, it gives you a feeling of more space just by relativity. So an example of that is like you can clench your hand and then relax it, and then it just feels like your fingers have so much space. But the space between your fingers, the space available to you hasn't really changed, but your perception of it has. So if we clench, feels like there's no space, and then we unclench, it's like, ah. So try to think about with your neck, the strand of tension like a sutra, using your breath. It's imaginary, so, but imagining your breath being a balloon, expanding in the inhale, making it even tighter, and then on the exhale, creating more space so that strand can lengthen. if we think of each strand as a value or a sutra, something important in our lives, how can we lengthen that? How can we maximize that to help us achieve our goals? If our goal is to be with family more and have more of a work-life balance, how can we implement that? How can we take charge of our lives so that we're not wishing and wanting, but we're actually taking small steps towards implementing and achieving? And we can kind of shake it out from side to side. And then we'll go around the other side with a little bit more fluidity. And it's a process. If we do this each week, we might see a change. A few minutes a day is even better. I always say, 5 minutes a day of stretching, in my opinion, does more than a whole bunch at once. But we have to do what works in our lives. It's a practice, not a perfect. And there's no right answer. It's just about what you feel has served you. So with this, we'll inhale and we'll shake it all out. And we'll inhale again and shake it all out. Let's rainbow the arms again and see if we feel any different having stretched our neck. Maybe try to bring the elbow in a little bit, imagining the back straight against the wall. Trying to keep the hip and leg grounded. Setting small goals. So there's a book that says, make your bed every day, because then before your day has even started, you've accomplished something. And let that feeling of accomplishment set the framework for your day. So if you wake up and you make your bed and you feel like a hero because you got something great done, then you'll probably treat the other opportunities in your day as something that you'll probably be successful about. And then that will increase your frustration tolerance to give it a little more effort and have a little more resilience to actually accomplish it. And then what might happen is you end up accomplishing more that day. So mindset does a lot, not because it's magic, but because we don't give up as easily. So it's not really that yoga does anything magical to improve our lives. It's just that by practicing yoga or by doing things that sort of decrease self-sabotage, it just lets your own true colors shine. And when your own true colors are able to shine, then you get to fulfill your potential. So it's not really about needing some outside thing to make you better. It's more about not giving energy to negative or self-defeating thoughts. It's like in the absence of all the debris, you can rise. You don't really, it's more like you already have what it takes inside you to be the best of yourself. It's already there. It's just about dusting off that debris. So sometimes in yoga they say all the answers you need are already inside of you. Or this idea that we all have an amount of creativity. And by doing creative things, sometimes we feel inspired. And when we feel inspired, we have more energy. Another way to think about this, and we'll take a deep breath and we'll come forward and exhale. Another way to think about this is imagine a day where you're tired. Oh, and by the way, if you're large and this is not comfortable, you can sit on a block bolster. You can put like this. You can put your legs in a seated straddle. Please feel free to adjust as feels good. Some people watching this are doing teacher training, are pregnant. Some people are just yoga teachers that want this certification. And even among our pregnant clientele, everybody's at a different gestational period. So your teachers and teachers need to rely on their own good judgment. So whether you are teaching others or taking this class for yourself, there's no substitute for your own good judgment, and that is empowering to critically think. So I encourage you to do this. So we'll breathe in and we'll exhale and lean forward. If your belly's larger and you want to put your head on a block, that's an option. And we'll just take some breaths here. If this doesn't feel good, you can feel free to modify. Maybe seated up, maybe in a straddle. And the idea here is we're really lengthening the back because there's a lot of tension in pregnancy in the back. And if you are in your first trimester, maybe you don't have back tension yet, but by lengthening and strengthening the back muscles, you're putting your body in the best position possible to carry additional weight. And having gone through 3 pregnancies myself, I feel like that healthier you go into it, the easier it is. Now, I'm not a doctor, and there's always, each case is unique, but kind of going into things healthy, whether it's pregnancy, whether it's surgery, whether it's a physical challenge. We have a lot of athletes, world champions. Whatever major endeavor you're going into, the more well-rested you are, the cleaner your eating is, the more hydrated you are. These are all things that help your body perform optimally. We'll just take a few breaths here. If your legs start to fall asleep, you can shake them out. But let's just see how deep we can go. It takes about 90 seconds for your body to sort of stop fighting and stretch and fall deeper into the release. Sort of like the progress of stretching comes from holding poses. However, sharp shooting pain is never good, so don't allow that. As you get deeper into this, you may feel a stretch in your hips. If you feel neck strain, please support your head. as we take some quiet time, try to focus on your breath, and you can imagine your breath like a circle with no start and no end from the inhale and exhale. And just imagining your breath like a circle or an infinity sign, like a figure skater doing figure eights, looping up and down and around and up and down. And let's just imagine our breath, whether you're doing this position, Sukhasana with a forward fold, or whether you're modifying and doing something else. Let's really try to focus on our breath as either a figure eight or a circle with no start and no end. Drawing your shoulders back, trying to ground your sits bones. Here you can walk your fingers to one side. So again, we're not going to twist. We want to imagine our hips as laser beams forward, our belly button as laser beams forward. We want to keep all those have straight forward, no twist in pregnancy, no laying on the stomach, and not laying on our back too long. Also, pregnant people have a lot more blood in their body, and circulation is a problem, so self-massage like this can be great, or shaking it up if the legs start to fall asleep. But let's just try to apply this rainbow arms to breathing in and exhaling and walking our fingertips to the side. So here we're stretching one side of the rib cage while contracting the other. Now, depending on how pregnant you are, if this is uncomfortable, then don't do that and lessen it. But the idea is we're applying the same kind of stretch but in a different position and using gravity to kind of help relax other parts of the body. You might feel a stretch under your arms, like in your armpit area. And they say that that can be really great for the lymph nodes in this area and maybe to help breast cancer. But I think nothing here initially construed as medical advice. I was a yoga teacher, a former attorney, not a doctor. Please ask your doctor if you have any questions. Please do your own to seek medical attention. And a lot of people say a lot of huge claims about what yoga does, and we are not saying that at ShareLove.Fund. Yoga has worked for me personally, and so I enjoy sharing that gift with clients. But if somebody is sick, they should see a doctor. They should not see a yoga instructor. If someone is doing their ordinary routine and they want like a little subtle optimization, I think yoga can really help optimize an already good routine. But it's not an end all. It's just one tool. So stretch a little deeper to the side and really feeling the stretch all the way from the hip
through the arm, letting the knees drop to the ground. If the rib cage is flexible, then we may feel the stretch in our hips. You'll feel the stretch in the tightest point. And that also, it's interesting because when you do the same stretch at different points in your practice, sometimes feels different depending on what your tightest point is.
We'll walk our hands to the other side.
And really feeling the stretch on this side. Concentrating on our breath, like that figure 8 or the circle with no starter and just fluid out. For pregnancy, it is important to not restrict a pregnant person's breath or anyone's breath. I'm not telling you how long your breath should be. And I'm just guiding you to encourage you to think about your breath in terms of fluidity and consistency with no start or end. Maybe you want to imagine that figure 8 getting longer and longer as we fall deeper into the stretch, lengthening our body. Trying to keep the sits bones on the ground and the aspirational goal of the fingertips towards the wall. We'll take a few breaths in silence here because in this world of constant music and email, sometimes you just have to sign up for a class and block out that time to even get a moment of silence. We'll walk our fingertips a little bit more if that feels good. Try to get a little deeper into the stretch. We won't go any more around than just straight, because if we start to go to the back wall, then that would be a twist, and we're not doing a twist. We can't move into the side. When this hip starts to lift up, that's when we've kind of gone too far. And then we can come up when you're ready, and we'll shake it all out. So now we've really just created a lot of space in the rib cage. You may feel taller. We'll sit up, breathe in, and shake it all out. So if your feet feel asleep, you might want to tap your feet a little bit, give a little self-massage, little butterfly to get the circulation going, and really commend yourself for trying something, giving yourself this moment of a warm-up. And now we'll get into our lesson of the day and our workout. So I invite you to stand up at your own pace. If you're in your third trimester, maybe take it easy. And we're going to talk about Warrior 2. Most everything in RPYT 200, you know Warrior 2, but fundamentals are key. So, and it's nice, especially if you are more experienced teacher, sometimes it's been a while since you get the benefit of really concentrating on these fundamentals. So, in Warrior 2, we want to have our shoulders drop down. One way to do that
is to lift the palms up, and that kind of forces our shoulder blades to kind of come in. So when you lift the palms up, then you can readjust. If you have a mirror, sometimes it's helpful to see, are you tilted one side or another? But a mirror can also be distracting. So if you look over your fingertips on one side, then you look over your fingertips on the other, you can make little adjustments. Making those adjustments is great because body awareness is part of what we're learning here. So by self-adjusting, it's resonating. We'll inhale, bring our arms up, and shake it all out. We'll do that on the other side because a major advantage of yoga is that we can be symmetrical. The right knee will try to be a right angle. Left foot or back foot, 45-degree angle. And we'll do this. So this gets our shoulder blades back, drops our shoulder. We'll look over our back fingertips and our front fingertips to make sure we are symmetrical. So this is not a twist, and it's safe for pregnancy because our hips and our belly button are all pointed forward. And so this is warrior 2. So that's the position. So we'll take a deep breath and we'll shake it out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate warrior 2 into our sun salutation. So we'll start with our sun salutation, just plain for review. Please feel free to have some water. If you need to use the restroom, just common for pregnant people. Definitely make yourself comfortable because when you're focused on other things like holding it, it's hard to get the maximum benefits. So the share method is based on repetition. It was designed for incarcerated women to earn their yoga degrees so that if they are able to leave their state of incarceration, they can have a livelihood that serves their mind, body, and soul, should they ever need it. I wanted to provide free vocational training, and thank you so much to everyone who was signed up and paid on Teachable, because not only are you funding your own degree, but you're also funding our education system for incarcerated women and also youth. So youth can be empowered with adult teaching degrees, and we're just super excited about the at-risk youth and women that we're able to serve because of you. So you are truly making a difference. And please know from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I get the awesome benefit of getting all the thank yous from the people we help and our customers who have made all that help possible. They don't receive the outreach, immediate feedback, and I just want to share it with you that it's awesome. So many people are so grateful, from Ukraine to Philippines to New York City. We're able to cover it all with technology at a really cost-effective basis. We're able to reach so many people. So thank you, and help them with healthy pregnancies, which is awesome. Okay, so without further ado, so Tadasana. We are engaging our glutes. Our feet are hip width apart. Peter Icavello, our lead trainer, gave us a teaching tip in our week. He said, make a fist, put your hands together. Lean forward and bend your knees. He said that a way to know if your feet are about the correct distance is use a fist to measure. Maybe you are a really experienced yoga teacher and that is not interesting to you, but it may be interesting to your students. So this teaching tip, because maybe someone with a little less body awareness really needs that concrete measurement. Okay, so we are in Tadasana, and also talk about using our feet as sort of monkey feet, like grabbing onto the ground, tightening the glutes, turning out the thighs, thinking about stacking the spine, shoulders back, chin level, eyes soft gaze. Let's just take a breath here. Toes should be pointed forward. You might want to put your heels a little bit out if your toes aren't forward. And feel where you're tight. Sometimes people are tight in their ankles. It's also nice as a teacher to ask the students where they feel tight. Because different people feel tightness in different places. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank. Now we have knees, chest, and chin in our standard sun salutation, but that's not really going to work for third trimester. So we can just kind of come to up dog and make a lot of space for the belly, or cobra. And baby cobra can work when we have props and blankets like we've used in the other class, but I like to mix it up and do some classes without any props. Certainly our incarcerated women, I don't want them to have to depend on props. So without props, you can make space for the belly in up dog. In up dog, you can think about tightening your glutes and engaging your back as a way to decrease the pressure on your wrist. You can make your back do some of the work. And by engaging your back muscles, you are also strengthening your back and preparing it for pregnancy. So let's just hold this a little bit. It's uncomfortable on your wrist. What you can do is put a block or a bolster under your knees or under your thighs and come down on your forearm as long as you have space. But let's just really engage those back muscles, engage the glutes all the way down the legs, and just get this back side of the body strong. As our stomach muscles will stretch in pregnancy, our back muscles can get strong. Relax your neck. And push up to downward dog. So downward dog, you can bend your knees a little bit to get that triangle. And let's pedal out our feet a little bit. By leaning on one side, you can really stretch. If this feels like too much on your wrist, you can do downward puppy. And with being pregnant, you can do downward puppy with wide legs. So it's kind of like child's pose, but your bottom is up. So this would be child's pose, and this is downward puppy. But here, let's focus on downward dog, but that's a modification if downward dog doesn't work for you. So in downward dog, I'm going to really focus on getting this tailbone to the ceiling. In order to do that, if you need to bend your knees, go for it. If you need to widen your legs, because to make room for the belly, go for it. And we're going to just like pedal out these legs and just really try to get into that hamstring. We spend so much time sitting in a chair that our hamstrings get tight. Especially kids, you know, we always think of kids as so flexible. But to see how tight the kids we work with, to see how tight their hamstrings are, you know, it just shows how much all of us are
or in chairs. So one thing you can do is when you have choice time, you can sit on the ground. Let's really try to stretch this. Breathe into it. And while we're stretching, we're also building upper body strength. And you can engage your core while trying to relax your neck. And the other side. And both sides. So here we'll walk our feet up. We'll come back to forward fold. Can hold our elbows. Really just lean forward and just feel that bend. And then just let it drop. You can widen your legs to make space for the belly. And you can kind of teeter a little bit. Maybe put your hands down for stability. If you feel dizzy, then stop this. But this is a way to kind of let gravity work for you. And to really stretch that lower back, which is kind of taking a lot of the brunt of the pregnancy. When we're more flexible, we're able to respond instead of react. And that is a way to de-escalate things. That is true in social situations. But also in physical situations, when our body is flexible, it also is able to kind of respond and adjust instead of snap and react. And we can think about this in terms of buildings. I'm from Los Angeles and we have earthquakes. Buildings are made to sway. And they found that when buildings can actually move during an earthquake, they don't fall over. So flexibility can actually make us more resilient and stronger in the long run. And being super strong and super fortified and super rigid, that can actually be a barrier in some cases when little adjustments are necessary. So here, we're really dropping into the forward fold to really encourage our lower back and shaking our neck. Really encourage our lower back to be flexible. Let go of tension. You can do a slight bend in the knees. You can also use this forward fold to engage the glutes and the legs like we did in Tadasana, and to engage the abdomen. We'll breathe, half bend, and then come up to upward salute and down again. So that was a review of our sun salutation. I'm going to take a sip of water. And we'll do that 3 times with a little more fluidity. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, lean forward. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, going into plank. Prenatal modification is we're skipping knees, chest, chin, and we're going into up dog or cobra. Pushing back into down dog. We stretch, pedal out the feet on one side. Maybe feel a little hip stretch. And on the other side, because symmetry is key. And then this time we can walk our hands back to our feet and do our forward fold.
or half forward fold with bent knees, so our back is straight. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, Tadasana. We'll do this from the back of our mat. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, plank. We can walk our head out like bear. In plank, we can hold this, roll a little forward, a little back, try to find the position. And then sit in knees, chest, and chin. We'll just come up dog, or cobra. Pushing back into down dog. Again, we'll lean one hip. It's not a twist, it's just a lean to really get into this hip and hamstring. Maybe you feel it in your rib cage. And we'll really lean into the other side. And we'll lean into both. Really trying to make yourself a triangle. Bend your knees if you need to, and just really trying to think from your head to your tailbone, a nice long downward slope. If your heels are up, that's fine. The idea is that your upper back has the slope. Doesn't really matter if your knees are bent, your heels are up or down. From here, we'll walk our feet forward. We have our forward fold, half forward fold. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, Tadasana. Do it one more time. Inhale and exhale. Really paying attention to the breath this time. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, come all the way up and exhale. Nice job. So that was a review of our sun salutation. So from here, we're going to do the sun salutation again, but we'll add in warrior two, our pose of the day and of the week. And our method has no tests or quizzes, as you'll notice in our teachable. And the idea is that we can learn kinetically just by doing through repetition. Yoga is not rocket science. Little things repeated can add up to be big changes. So if it seems repetitive, it is, and that's where we see a lot of benefits. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, plank. From plank, we're going to go into up dog. And from up dog, we go into down dog. From down dog, we bring our knee in, tighten our stomach, and our hands forward. Step our foot forward through our hands, and we're sort of in a lunge. From this lunge, we can bring our back foot to a 45-degree angle, and then like we did the rainbow, we can come up to warrior two. We'll check ourselves by having palms up and down to decrease shoulder tension, looking over the back fingers, looking over the front, making slight alignment changes, having a angle in front of your front foot. Here we can inhale, lean up, and exhale, lean down. Not twisting, just rainbowing our arms. Then we can come back down, go back to plank, back to up dog, down dog. Walk our feet forward, forward bend, half forward bend. Inhale and exhale. Do it again on the other side. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, half forward bend. Exhale, other side, sorry. So then we are in a lunge. I think I sort of botched this. I think from the forward bend, we went to plank, and then up dog. It's live on YouTube. It's a practice, not a perfect. So we say real work for real women because it's very real and real life is not perfect. Okay, push up to down dog. Then we bring the other foot into our chest, tighten our stomach muscles, put our foot through our hands, back foot 90-degree angle, and then come up. So here we are in warrior two. Put our palms up to relax our shoulders, and then straighten, looking over our fingertips on our back hand and our front. Inhaling, windmilling our arms up, and exhaling, windmilling them to the other side. Thinking about if our back was up against the wall, would it be straight, not going forward, not going too far back, just like this, feeling the length. Then we can come back to down dog, walk our feet forward. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, arms down. So that's a way to build on the framework of our sun salutation with by adding the poses that we learned each week. You can use them to beef up your sun salutation, and that's our method to help anybody be a great yoga teacher and really learn the material without having to have papers or pen or a study environment at home. We just learn it by repetition, always repeating the sun salutation, always adding new poses. Okay, so let's do a little butterfly. And in this butterfly, we're gonna open up our feet and try to read it like a book. I'm gonna grab some water, and I encourage you to check in with yourself and hydrate and take care of yourself as you need to. So here you can do some self-massage. You don't need to go into all the technical aspects of different pressure points and this or that. You know your own body, and if you feel like you're getting some relief, then that's great, then that's working for you. So you can sort of use your thumbs to needle and just create some circulation. And it's a way to get in touch with you and also not feel dependent on others. Let's say your feet are swollen and you've been begging a significant other for foot massage. Well, you can be empowered and massage your foot yourself and get relief. And having that on-demand relief, sort of is self-love and makes you your own best friend. So with this, we can also shake it out, maybe go a little side to side, massaging those sit bones. Let's take one leg out, and here we can really work on hip flexibility. So there's a lot going on when we're pregnant, and sort of embracing that, embracing the uncertainty and accepting it and getting in touch with the hips, that can help. So when we have one leg out, we can sort of lean back and forward. If you're more comfortable, you can sit on a prop, you can sit on books, and that sort of helps lean forward. And we can just sort of see how this goes. One thing that we can do, which is not a twist, is like a little hula. So the reason why this is not a twist is because our hips and our belly button are staying forward, all in one line. We're not doing any torque. So if we do this and lower our shoulders, this works our arms a bit. And let's just kind of do
a hula to one side. And this just kind of reminds ourselves that you may be pregnant, but there's still a lot you can do. There's a lot of nooks and crannies in there that you can sort of stretch and shift. And we can kind of go forward and back. So in week 4, we talked about cat-cow. And while this doesn't look like cat-cow, it's working the spine the same way as cat-cow does. So with a lot of these poses, it's not so much about doing this pose or that pose, but as a teacher, it's about knowing what each pose is working. And then when you have a client that says, hey, I have a really tight spine, what can I do? Then you can think about cat-cow, or you can think about seated thrusts like this, and really just using the poses as tools to get at different alignment goals. You can shake it out and do the other side. Notice how each side might feel different. So we can lean forward and back. Trying to allow the knee to drop and see if the inner thigh is tense. And just giving that an opportunity to open up. The hips are really tight. It takes a lot to stretch them. And arms up. This time we'll put the side in the theme of Warrior 2. Dropping our shoulders, lengthening our arms, looking over our back side, our back arm, looking over our front. And we'll do a little hula again. If you feel sharp pain or discomfort, don't do it. But the idea is this is not a twist, because our hips and belly button are staying square, but it's a way to increase mobility and decrease tension, which can manifest in anxiety and rigidity. And rigidity can cause injury. So sort of by being flexible, we get to have kind of negative things just kind of bounce off, and we can stay focused on what we need for prosperity. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, let it hang out. You can do it on each side. If it feels comfortable to you, you can prop up. Sometimes that helps. Sometimes it helps to have a blanket if you are really large. Sometimes it helps to hold your feet to kind of push forward. Because with the baby, sometimes what happens is our back starts to round, and that's when we feel tension in the lower spine. So by either sitting on a block or bending the knees and getting that belly forward, we don't have to hold the belly so much, and that can cause some relief. So here we can really get at that neck again, and those sutras we were talking about, the themes and values of what's important to you. If each sort of strand of tension in your neck was a value, how would you want to lengthen it and bring it into your life more? If your goal is to spend more time on fitness, what are small little changes you can do? Or if your goal is to set more boundaries in your life and say no, more? What are small ways that you think you can set yourself up for success on that? Again, we'll do the idea of cat-cow. Seated for spinal flexibility. Really curving, feeling the stretch in our shoulders, and back and forth. We'll shake out our legs a little more, and we'll come back to easy seat, the first pose we did in week 3. And from easy seat, we're going to really think about rolling our shoulders back and some shoulder and upper back poses, stretches. So in eagle, normally eagle is standing, you have one crossed over the other leg. But if we just do eagle arms and we put our shoulders up, do you feel a stretch across your back, connecting your shoulder blades? Sometimes when we're pregnant, it's a little much to do the whole eagle balancing pose when your center of gravity is off. But you can still get the upper body benefits of eagle just doing eagle arms. You can have your arms lower, and then as you want a deeper stretch, pull it up. And really try to increase the space between your shoulders. We'll take a few minutes here. We'll shake it out. Let's do a little bit of shoulder stretch. So we could kind of swim our arms back and just kind of counteract all that we did in eagle. So this is backstroke, I guess, an unofficial yoga that when we brought our shoulders forward, our back, we want to help our shoulders go in the opposite direction. So you can think of your arm up, dropping your shoulder, reaching up, but dropping at the same time, keeping the sits bones down, but trying to reach your fingers up. Yoga is about opposites. And stretching back, 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 back without twisting. And helping the shoulder rotation. Try that on the other side. Reaching up, dropping the shoulder. Back, 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 back without twisting or torquing the upper body. We can do it together. Here we can put an elbow up and feeling the stretch, lengthening the armpit. And the other side. Noticing the difference between the two sides. If it feels better, you can have a straddle or straight, one leg in, the other leg in. And just really trying to feel good in the skin we're in. Shake it out. You can butterfly your feet and give a little self-massage. So here we did eagle. I'm just trying to see, I think we did on this side. So now we want to do eagle, but the other side. So eagle arms, well, if it's too much of a stretch, you can bring your arms down. Or if it's, okay, we can do this for a couple minutes. This is not only stretching our back, it's also increasing strength in our arms by holding our arms up. And there's a little bit of a burn and you don't mind it, but it's bothering you, you know, you can do other things with your lower body, and that's like a little bit of a distraction. So you can sometimes get more benefits from a stretch or a holding pose by distracting your minds a little bit. Like here, we're still working our arms the same, whether or not we're rocking or not. And those are things you can kind of play around with. Let it all hang out. And here we'll come back to what we did in the beginning, which was raising arms and seeing if after all of that, how does our rib cage feel? Do we feel any looser? From here, let's do traditional cat-cow. And we'll review that. So here for cat-cow, we come into tabletop. Our knees can be hip-width apart. You can have your toes curled under or not. The hands and fingers are widespread. You're not really dumping your weight into your hands. The idea is that you're engaging your core and your abs so that you almost could balance without hands. You can do flat bend in your elbows. And we'll tilt our tailbone up, our head up, and just try to lengthen and stretch and bend the spine. And then here we drop our head down, almost like we do in forward fold. Imagining a string on the top of our back, pulling us up. And really imagining your back curled like a cat. We'll breathe in, cow, and exhale, cat. As we bring in for cow, we can kind of lean into it like we did for down dog. Now this again, it's not a twist because our hips and our belly button are all aligned, but this is a way to sort of get into the tightness of our rib cage and how that connects through our back body. So let's just breathe. You can think about the circle or the figure eight, and we'll just do like a little circle, really getting into those threads or those sutras of tightness. And I'm thinking of each strand of tightness like a theme or a thread or a value of what you want to prioritize in your life. And by taking the time to check in with you, then you are more likely to make decisions in pursuit of your goals and priorities. And when you are making decisions in light of your goals and priorities, that's empowerment. Now let's do it on the other side. And one more time. Thinking about the circle. You can come back like it if you need a block to make room for the belly, or you can use your hands. And we're just going to take some breaths in child's pose, allowing our body to drop and enjoying the silence, the space of this moment. Concentrating on our breath as a figure or a circle with no start or no end. For prenatal yoga, breath fluid, no strenuous breathing, no forced breathing. Just relax, like a figure skater, gliding in and gliding out. Here we can walk our fingertips to one side, but just feeling a deeper side stretch. And walking our hands back to center. And on the other side, a little side stretch, keeping our sits bones on our heels, trying to drop our sacrum down, making room for the belly, using a block if you need to prop up your head. Definitely don't want to put pressure on your belly. And feeling the length as your breath glides like a figure skater. Doing a figure 8 or an infinity sign, or a circle, no start or end. Just constant nourishment. Your breath feeds your brain, Breathe increases good judgment with oxygen to the brain. When people have a problem, they often say, take a deep breath. It helps us make better decision making. It helps us make better decisions. You can take a deep breath and get out of fight or flight and respond instead of react. If you want to take a sip of water or move around, I welcome you to. And we're going to get comfortable for some back work. So let's firmly ground our feet on the mat. And we're going to come down slowly if you can. If you think you might thump, use your arms to help you. But coming down slowly with the added benefit of working our abs. So on our backs, we can lift our arms up, our legs straight, and really stretch, stretch, stretch. You can sort of pedal out the feet one side or the other side. Bringing knees into chest, you can make room for the stomach and come into happy baby. Here we can go side to side, really massaging that spine, saying good job on your work today. From here we can stretch out the hamstrings, trying to put the sacrum down, trying to tuck our chin in to make our neck long, increase connection of our neck to the mat. And here in Happy Baby, you're stretching your hamstrings. You're also stretching your spine all the way from your tailbone to your skull. And seeing how much connection you have with all of that in the mat. You get your tailbone to the tip of your spine, the top of your neck. You can get that all to touch the mat. Now that's an aspirational breath. That's what we're talking about here. You're in your third trimester, you shouldn't be on your back too long. If you feel uncomfortable, please move. Don't hold something because I'm holding it. This is a teacher training, and the best thing you can learn as a teacher is to use your own critical thinking. We'll exhale and we'll go long again and see how that feels in comparison. Lifting one side up, lifting the other, pedaling out. Now we're going to bring one knee into our chest and a foot on our thigh. Now we are not twisting. We're just stretching this muscle. We're keeping our hips firmly on the mat. We're just stretching that. Okay, bring our other knee in and keeping our back firmly flat and squared on the mat. We can stretch this. Bringing our knees back into the chest, can cross our legs, grab hold of our ankles, and feel a little stretch here. Normally, I bring it in like this, but for prenatal, we need to create some space. And see if this feels like a stretch to you. We can shake it out and do it on the other side. Trying to get into the glutes a little bit. Maybe roll the ankles. From here, we can lift our legs up. And really try to bring your chin into chest. And really try to create a long neck. You might want to do some self-massage on your shoulders and have a long spine. Stretching out the hamstrings. If it feels better, you can bend your knees a little bit. And we'll just really try to lengthen our spine here. To work our abs, we'll slowly bring our legs down. And leaving one leg down, we'll bring one knee into our chest and feel that stretch. Maybe feel it in the top of your thigh or groin. Happy baby. So in half happy baby, you can kind of notice the difference between the sensations you feel here and how it varies, how you can get a stretch more in your groin and hips by doing a half happy baby. So by going over these stretches and repeating, we have an opportunity to gain connection in between our movement and the impact of that movement on our body. And through that connection, we're able to better advise our clients when they have issues or they want to work on a specific body part. We have more tools in our tool belt to say, oh, you can get some of that hip flexibility through half happy baby and these other variations, but it takes time. So yoga is not a big wow. It's little things to add up, grains of sand. One of my inspirational yoga teachers, Justin Tang, who has helped so much with ShareLove.Fund, and I have a lot of gratitude. He told me, Ashley, you can't grow an oak tree faster. You can fertilize it and you can talk to it and maybe it helps it be a little stronger, but it's just going to take a certain amount of time to grow an oak tree. So some things we just have to be patient for. So here we bring our feet down and we'll come to one side, not a twist, but just a lengthening. Bringing our foot up and seeing if this is a stretch of your hip. And taking a few breaths here to relax. Maybe you want to bring your arm up and we'll just increase the theme of stretching this whole side body. So sort of like a scissors. Roll over to the other side. And also sort of do the scissor on this side, stretching this whole side body, not twisting, kind of stacking yourself so that if your back was against the wall, it would be straight. That's how you know you're not twisting, is if your back was against the wall, would it be straight? If so, you're not twisting. We'll come back to center when you're ready, and we can rock side to side, our spine again. And with the feet together, going to a reclined goddess pose. Now, if you're very pregnant and you don't feel comfortable, you can stack up pillows behind you so you're more like a seated goddess pose. And I invite you to bring your arms up and your shoulders back. And you can emulate the position of your feet with your hands. And we'll just take a few moments and use this as our final relaxation. Letting our knees fall to the side of the mat. Opening our hips. Trying to increase connection between our spine and the mat. Asking ourselves what are we holding on to and what would happen if we just let it all go. As you breathe, you can think of figure 8 or the circle of your breath. And by holding this pose, you may find that your hips open up a little bit. Through relaxation, we can decrease our stress hormones, lower our cortisol levels. Through movement, we can help digestion, circulation. By increasing circulation and drinking water, cleanse itself. And these are all benefits you can feel really proud of by investing in yourself today, investing in your practice, and investing in the opportunity to invest in others through a prenatal teaching degree. Whether or not you intend to teach, the fact that you know how to be a teacher can manifest itself in a whole variety of helpful ways. And we don't need to know exactly how the skills we acquire will be used. We just know that by investing in ourselves, we are giving ourselves and those that we interact with opportunities. With that, I encourage you at your leisure to not twist. One way to not twist is to connect your arm with your leg and to move that whole body together like one unit. That keeps your shoulder from rolling back and prevents a twist. So when you're ready, kind of connect your arm to your leg, come to one side. You can take a few breaths here, moving your fingertips, moving your toes. We take a few breaths here so we don't get lightheaded when we come up. With a deep breath, reward yourself for the energy you put out. Breathe in positivity and energy to carry you through the rest of your day and endeavors. You can come up slowly when you're ready, and we'll meet. You can have your palms up to receive. Shoulders down. Let us breathe. May the light in me be the light in you. Namaste. I thank you so much for your time today. I know you have a choice with teaching programs. It means so much to me that we can work together, and through helping ourselves, together we rise, and we can help so many youth and women through our outreach program, which is really only possible because of our public clientele. From my heart, thank you so much for using ShareLove. And please feel free to give us feedback, as we aim to please, and we're just so